Welcome to the D.Fos podcast, where we drop insight, inspiration, and information. On today's show, we have Blanc Lewis Family Insurance.
Welcome to the D.Fos podcast. This is a show where we drop insight, information, and inspiration. So somewhere along those lines, I try to drop, something in those three buckets all the time when I bring y'all on. So I've been knowing Frantwan for a little bit. He introduced me to you, Ken is his business partner. And, we talked about insurance a while back, man. And so I just want to really share some information and some light on our community and community in general about the importance of life insurance, man. Like I titled this episode, it's only one life, man. And I know we got a plan to the end. Sometimes, the problem is, I think nobody thinks they're going to die. You know what I mean? And nobody's really ready to go when they go, man. We always trying to get stuff together, man, and put stuff in place. So I just want to get, some insight and some information from you guys. I know you got your company. And what did you say the name of it? I just had the name of it too.
Blanc Lewis Family Insurance.
Blanc Lewis, yeah. But the website is
In God We Trust.
I love that, man. When I seen that, I'm like, man, I almost dropped the phone, man. I'm like, man. I said, man, that is powerful, man. That is powerful, yeah. And God We Trust Insurance.com.
Right.
That's powerful, man. That's powerful. So give me a little background, man. So how did you guys hook up, man? How did LeBlanc Lewis Insurance Company form? How did y'all get into insurance, should I say?
Sure, yeah, because I've actually I've been doing insurance, probably since I was like 8. I started off selling insurance since I was like 18. So right out of high school, I literally started selling insurance. And so I think and then Kenneth, actually, when we say LeBlanc Lewis Family Insurance, we literally are family. So Kenneth Lewis is actually my stepdad. So we really are family. So what happened is I think in 2017, how we ended up connecting, he always supported me and always bought my products and was always referring me people. And then my mother, of course, which is his wife, has always been really supportive of me and, giving me clients and just, educating people about what we do and what I do and so forth. So in 2017, I was talking to Kenneth and he told me that he was interested in making some changes. He was thinking about starting a business. And then, so he said that he was considering the insurance business. And so that's when I said, okay, well, if you considering that, then it's a done deal. We can just get into business together. And so we basically have been in business. He's actually a really good salesperson, but he's really more of he's more administrative. I know how to do administrative, but I really don't like administrative. I rather educate and bring the clients in. But a lot of times he will do a lot of the administrative part, and then I will do the more so the selling. But he does a lot of selling and a lot of we don't like to say sales, we more so say educating, because what we do is we educate consumers on what they need. So that's pretty much how we were birthed, how we kind of merged together. I kind of just said, okay, this is what I need. And then he kind of said, okay, this is what I can help you with. And then we kind of merged together. So we've been going strong since like 2017. Now we're like in 2021. So yeah, we've been doing good so far. And it's been great to be able to bring him in, because Kenneth comes from a IT background. So he's real technical. So it works out good though, because when it comes to insurance and when it comes to underwriting, you need a person that's going to be thorough and a person that's going to be real technical, so we can make sure that we get the policies issued. Because we can submit policies all day long, but if you don't do the right underwriting, then it doesn't really matter. So that's where Kenneth comes in with the technical side and with the underwriting. And I mean, a lot of times I will talk to a client and they won't tell me everything or share everything with me. And I may have known the client for years, and then Kenneth will come along, he'll talk to the same exact client, and then he'll find out all this information that helps us with the underwriting process. So, but that's how we came about. I think you are muted, David. Go ahead.
All right, well, I was. Yeah,
Okay.
I said you need both. You really need both skill sets. Then you would say, huh?
Right.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, Ken, and take me back. How's your background? How did you get into insurance? I know you come from the IT background, but what led you to get into insurance, and how long was you in it before y'all ran into
Well,
each other?
well, I knew Frantwan was in the insurance business, and I was looking to actually, like he said, to start a business because basically being in IT, I'm not going to wind up doing this forever.
Right,
And
right,
basically this is something that I've done all my life.
Mm-hmm.
But when we started investigating insurance,
Mm-hmm.
I actually saw that it was an opportunity to not only just start a business, but
Mm-hmm.
to do something and to contribute something to our people
Right.
that they
Right.
may not have been really aware of.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that's my biggest focus is, like you said, not really trying to sell insurance, but to educate people,
Mm-hmm.
because insurance has been around for centuries.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we as a people have not taken advantage of everything that there is for us in that field.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And when I saw that, I'm like, okay, this is a great opportunity.
Right. Right.
Even if someone does not want to use us as their agent,
Mm-hmm.
do something, but
Do
just
something.
don't sit back and do nothing.
Yeah, at least you planting that seed in their head to be
Right.
like, hey, if you don't go with me, you can say that y'all shine the light on the situation. At least
Yes.
they know now. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
because
true.
you can't say that you didn't know once you talk to us.
Right.
Right, right.
Yeah.
And I love what y'all doing, man. I love it.
We really look at it as a ministry,
It
because
is.
that's really what it is. It's a
Yeah.
ministry, educating people and making sure that they have the information, and then so that they can make the proper decision. So, and like Kenneth said, once they talk to us, they can't say they didn't know.
Yeah, yeah. And I
We
know
wanna
we
make
talked
sure
about
you have.
we gonna end up doing something too, man. I just was it kind of didn't come together high, but we're gonna end up doing something,
Yeah,
man. Because
absolutely.
I like how y'all presented it to me. He's like, boom, let me get Kenneth on the phone, and boom, you came right there and you was able to, what I'm saying, nail some other points in. So we're gonna get it. But based on what you just said, Kenneth, and segue into you, Frantwan, why do you think so many people misunderstand the value of life insurance? And two-part question, and do you think it's a hard sell? Because it really sells itself, but why do you think so many people misunderestimate the value of it?
Well, I can go, and then Kenneth can piggyback or go
Okay.
after me.
Okay.
I think that people just in general take life for granted, and people think that they're going to be healthy always, and it's something that they just kind of put off. People will spend 15, 20 hours planning before the pandemic, planning for a vacation.
Right.
People will
Right.
spend months planning
Months.
for a
Yeah.
wedding. But when it comes to just, taking out an hour to sit with a financial advisor like us, or to sit with an insurance agent, most people won't take that time out because people think that, oh, I'm going to be healthy, I'm going to live forever. And that's not the case, especially now. We've noticed with this pandemic, I've had
Oh,
so many
man.
people that, and we'll talk more, I won't get too much into it, but I've had so many people that have said, oh, I'm going to get with you, and they kept putting it off, and then they ended up contracting COVID. And so now the process is way different, and we'll talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah,
But I
man.
think people just, to answer your question, to stick with this question, I think people just take it for granted, and they think that their health is going to be the same, their life is going to be the same. And then what happens is a lot of times things change.
Yeah.
And when things change, they try to get insurance, and then they may not be able to get insurance. So that's why it's best to get it when you don't need it. It's
Well,
best
yeah,
to get
yeah.
it
Get it while
it's
you're
best to
healthy
get
and
it
while
while
you
you're
can.
healthy.
Yeah.
While you don't need it, that is the time to get it. Don't wait until you're sick, because then it's going to be harder to get it. So
Yeah.
you want to, and so I think that, and I don't think it's a hard sell. I just think it's more people are procrastinators, and people just take life for granted more so.
And what would you say to piggyback on that, Ken, about why people misunderestimate the value of what would your response be to that? You from your experience.
Well, a lot of people think that you're trying to just sell them insurance, but people don't understand. You just don't. Most people can just say, okay, I'm going to go and I'm going to get car insurance because I have to.
I have to.
You don't have to get life insurance. And then when they say, okay, all right, now I want to go get some life insurance, then they find out, oh, wow, this is actually like applying for a loan. I mean, sometimes people don't qualify for what it is they think they're going to get. So you think you're going to drive off the lot in a Maserati life insurance policy, and you wind up in a
Honda,
Volkswagen, Honda.
Yeah. The expectation and the qualification are two different things, ain't it?
Exactly. And then they want to know why, and then they're upset because now they see, oh wow, I cannot take care of my family like I thought I was going to be able to. And these are all the famous last words. I should have done it sooner.
Should have done it sooner. You hear that? Right. You hear that a lot?
Oh man. Because to delay is it costs you more.
Yeah. Time is money, literally.
That's right. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. And just briefly, what are some of the insurance services that you provide? I know life insurance, is that pretty much your primary product, the life insurance, or what? What other kinds you provide? Is that
we can provide first of all, there are several different types of life insurance. So you can't just lump life into one bucket.
Okay.
Because most people think of life insurance, they think of only like the death benefit.
Okay.
There are so many different ways and functions of life insurance for funding your retirement, funding your business, just all kinds of things. Rolling over your retirement that's in a 401k into a lifetime income opportunity. There's all kinds of things. Now, I know what you're speaking of is life insurance, auto insurance, things like that, renter's insurance. We can offer all aspects.
Okay. But your primary product is the life. That's what I was focused on. And so with that being said, Frantwan, to you, so can you explain the pros and cons of term versus life insurance, the pros and cons of those?
Yeah, you said the pros and cons versus if you buy term versus if you buy permanent insurance.
Permanent, term,
So the good thing about term insurance is that term insurance, it covers you at a lower cost. Far as like if you want to buy, let's say $1 million policy, you're going to pay a lot. You're going to pay a lot less with the term policy than you would if you were to buy, let's say, like a universal life policy, which is a permanent policy, or any type of permanent policy, just IUL, whole life. There's different types, but it's going to be a lot cheaper. So that's one of the benefits of buying term insurance. Now, so the downside,
term and life. So give me a scenario of term. So is it like 15? Give me a scenario.
Okay. So for example, some people will buy term because let's say if they have a young kid and they said, okay, I want to make sure that if something happens to me, that my kid would be able to pay for college. So they may buy like a 20-year term to cover them until the kid is age 20 for college or 18, whatever have you. That's when you will buy a term policy. Or a lot of people will buy term if they have a mortgage and they want to buy a term policy to be able to pay off the mortgage in case something happens. So that's where a term insurance policy would come in at. The downside to a term policy is that once that term is over, it's going to cost you a lot more money to renew that term. So for example, I had a client who bought a term policy with me maybe about 10 years ago. And so she was paying like maybe, let's say, $60 a month when she originally bought it. So now the insurance provider wrote her a letter saying, okay, if you don't make any changes, instead of you paying $60 a month, you're going to now have to pay about $300 a month for the same exact term policy. Because
I know. So what changes once it expires?
Because that's just the way they're set up. And then what happens? You change because your age is different.
10 years later.
Your health is different.
Okay. So what are they basing that? What are they basing it on? So say like if she was 45 when she bought it, and now you're getting into 55. Of course, age is a different thing.
Right.
Okay. So it's almost not beneficial term. Is really for short term. Then, like if you really just trying to do something.
It's for short term. Or what I tell people a lot of times, if you want the best of both worlds, like if you have young children and you want to make sure that you have enough coverage, but you can't afford what it takes to buy only permanent, then you're better off buying a term policy along with a permanent policy. That way, let's say if you do a 10-year term, when that 10-year term is up or when it expires, then your permanent policy will kick in.
So it'll go right into each other. Okay.
Right.
So say like if you was paying 60 for the term and then X amount for the permanent, once that 10 expires, you would just go into paying that. So what happens to all the coverage you've been paying for that 10 years? What happens to that?
Well, just like auto insurance, like
Ken just it just covers you for that time period.
For that time, right? So, but now with permanent insurance, you actually have like cash value where you can actually take out a loan, you can borrow against the policy. There's all type of features that you have with a permanent policy that you don't have with term insurance.
Okay, so it's more benefits,
right?
More benefits.
So, like for example,
line them up side by side, you probably have 4 dots over here and like 8 dots over here, probably.
Right, more benefits, yeah. Like to give you an example, I had a situation to where I had a IUL policy. That's a universal life policy, and this was several years ago. And I had a term policy. I got laid off at that point. I wasn't, I had a lot of stuff going on, and to make a long story short, I ended up like 3 years later. I looked up, my term policy had already expired a long time ago, and then I checked my IUL, and so the insurance company had been paying on my insurance policy for those 3 years from my cash value. So my policy didn't lapse. So I still had it.
Based on that, you had the universal, they start pulling from there and was paying on that one?
Exactly. So make sure that it didn't lapse. Right.
Called a no lapse guarantee.
Lapse. Oh man, y'all getting deep, man. Hey, off camera, we really got to get into some stuff, man, because y'all re-educate me. Give me some more information.
And then the good thing is, though, what we do is like probably about 90% of our carriers, because we have about 50 different companies. So I tell people all the time, don't shop, because if we can't get you approved, then you probably can't get it approved.
Yeah, because y'all have the access and network to
the 50 major insurance carriers that are the people that are in the major game players. We have access to them. But one thing we do is, and we offer whether you get term insurance or whether you get permanent insurance, most of our carriers, we have living benefits. And living benefits, basically, you don't have to wait till you pass away to benefit from it. Like if you were to get sick, if you were to have a different illness, depending on what the illness is, then you actually may qualify to take up to like 90% of the face value of your policy. So just for simple numbers, let's say if you had a $100,000 life insurance policy and you got sick under our critical illness policy, you had a critical illness, you got sick, you could take up to like $90,000 from that $100,000 that you can take and live and travel or do whatever
you live
do.
With.
Pay a nurse or someone to help take care of you.
Home care or because you never know what's going to happen, man. Especially these illnesses and sicknesses and stuff like that come about. And that's a real issue. I didn't see it happen to somebody, man, too.
Yeah, I mean, who knew COVID was going to come along?
Oh, man. That had to be an insurance game changer right there, didn't it?
Well, there's a few things. Now, the good thing, and I know we were going to talk about COVID maybe later on in the segment.
Well, look, while we on it, let's go and get into it. So, let me ask you this. So, let's break down life insurance in the era of COVID. how has it changed and how has things changed from y'all perspective? And
Well,
what would you advise in this era?
okay. Well, the good news is that, COVID has had a huge impact on the insurance industry as a whole,
Mm-hmm.
but life insurance has not been really affected. It's not like
Okay.
life insurance companies are going out of business,
Right. Okay.
because of claims.
Mm-hmm.
There hasn't even been any evidence that any insurance companies are like pulling out of the market.
Really?
Not writing
Because it's
any
been, what have we've lost, about almost 400,000 people now?
Almost
Yeah,
half a
Yeah,
million.
yeah.
yeah,
And so
almost
that's
half a million.
yeah, that's
But
insane.
they haven't really pulled out of the market.
Mm-hmm.
They're still paying claims.
Mm-hmm.
They're paying living benefit claims
Mm-hmm.
that people are now recovering from COVID. And
Mm-hmm.
now you've got a critical or a chronic residual illness
Mm-hmm.
based on the fact that you had COVID.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're cashing in on your living benefits.
Okay.
Right.
So explain, let me stop you right there. So explain how you could utilize those living benefits if something happens that prevents you from maybe going back to work as you was doing it, or some kind of illness has changed your situation. How does those living benefits work?
Well, the insurance industry calls they call it daily activities of living.
Okay.
So to qualify, you have to have lost two of them.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say you can no longer, well, first of all, you can't work.
Okay, you can't. That's number one. That's one. Is that one of them?
So no, that's not one of them.
That's not. Okay. Okay.
One of them is, let's say you can't get out of the bed by yourself.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You are kind of debilitated because you keep having these headaches.
Mm-hmm.
So you're really debilitated. You can't wash yourself, or you can't
Mm-hmm.
feed yourself. You need help putting on, figuring out what to put on. Just different things. Two of the six activities of daily living that most people take for granted. Now you have this illness and you need help.
Okay.
So in order to get help, a doctor says, well, you've got a chronic illness.
Mm-hmm.
Now, a chronic and critical illness, carriers define them a little bit differently.
Okay.
Chronic illness may be the fact that you have asthma.
Mm-hmm.
So you've had COVID and now your asthma has kicked in so bad.
Man, that's a bad combination.
Yeah, so now it's like you can't really keep a job because you have to take so much time off to care for your asthma.
Okay.
Well, you've lost one of your activities of daily living.
Okay.
That counts as a chronic illness.
Okay. That's heavy, man. That is
So
something else.
now, as far as getting insured in the COVID era,
Mm-hmm.
a few months ago, like for final expense for the elderly people,
Mm-hmm.
they cut the age limit. Normally, you could get it up to like age 85.
Really?
They cut it down to age 70. So if you were over 70,
Golly.
you could no longer get final expense insurance.
So final expense insurance is so like you need to get that last jug for like your funeral and all that stuff like that. Is that what you mean? The final expense? So they cut it down 15 years?
They cut it down for 15 years, but they've reinstated it here recently in the last 3 months since the vaccines have been coming out.
Mm-hmm.
They rescinded that.
Mm-hmm.
So
okay.
Now it's pretty much back to normal.
Okay.
But one thing they have done on every insurance policy for every company that we've written since then, they ask COVID questions.
Yeah. Now COVID, them questions they enter the normal application process now, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
And, like, have you tested positive? Have you been advised to self-isolate?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any symptoms? And if you answer yes, then your policy gets put on hold for like 60 days.
Golly. And so what are they doing in that 60-day period? What are they just
You're not covered. Yeah, it's a wait and see.
Golly.
Because if you lie on the application and they're going to check all the RX medications and everything, and you, God forbid, you pass away, but you lied on that application, they don't have to pay the death benefit to your beneficiary.
Oh, I see. And then with so much fraud and scamming going on, people probably fill it out and they getting up out of here and got $1 million life insurance policy and then lied about something, huh?
Exactly.
Wow, man. Have y'all gotten busier since COVID? Have a lot of people reached back out to y'all that y'all initially got in contact with and said, hey, now I want to sign up for it? Or what are y'all seeing?
Yeah, I would say definitely. People are more aware of what's going on, and then so many people are watching the news. So some people are afraid. So a lot of people are reaching back out to us, or the people that are not as responsible as they should be are more willing now to see the importance of it. So they're like, okay, I need to make sure to pay my insurance premium. And
people are thinking about their own mortality now.
Right.
Like, because it's up close and personal. And then we've all, I'm sure, I mean, I know that I've lost several people from COVID. And I know, we've all have been affected by it some kind of way.
One way or another.
Or I've known people that they've been fortunate to recover from it, but everybody didn't recover per se.
And their lives won't be the same if they've been had it and it going forward and stuff like that too. And where are y'all located at? Y'all located in California?
So we're located in California, but we actually we're licensed pretty much everywhere.
Okay.
We have about 10 states that we're licensed in. We're licensed in Arizona, Nevada, Chicago, Louisiana, I believe, Texas. So, and then wherever we're not licensed at, if we meet a client, because we meet clients all the time, whether it's online or whatever, we can get certified for that state. So we pretty much can do business in any state. But our main states would probably, I would say, would be California, Nevada, Texas, and Arizona.
Okay. Hold on, let me set this up real quick. Yeah, and so if somebody wanted to reach out to y'all from another state or something like that, then y'all could walk them through. If y'all not covered those states, how to get in touch with y'all.
Well, they would, they would just call us, and then if they wanted to do business, we could definitely submit an application, and then we would just do the administrative part on our end to get licensed whatever state they're at. But yeah, it doesn't matter what state they're in. We can talk to them. We could do a Zoom with them. Explain, go over.
That's another thing in the era of COVID. There's no longer a need for face-to-face.
Face-to-face, yeah. With technology and all this stuff, you don't have to worry about that.
Right. E-signatures, all of that. So.
Yeah, that's crazy.
There's no need for face-to-face, but I would say that it definitely is still a need if you're able to have an actual live agent and not someone that's like on the computer, Mr. Computer. Because
automated, something like that.
You want to make sure that, because we're going to make sure that we go through everything to make sure that you get the coverage you need and you deserve to get for your family. And so a lot of times when you're filling out stuff online, you may not say the right things. And then like Kenneth said, your account can be flagged and they can, they want to see, you want to recover from this or recover from that. But when you tell us, then we'll go about and we'll talk to the underwriters because we have personal relationships with all of our underwriters and all of our carriers. And then we'll know exactly based on your health history, we'll know exactly what carrier is the best carrier to take you to.
Based on the situation.
Everybody's situation is different. So,
and David, I'll add this in that a lot of people don't know. They wind up going to different companies, and the people will take their information, and next thing they know, they say, "Well, I got declined," but they really didn't tell me why. So they may have done a medical exam or something. Something came up in the medical exam or something in their history that they hadn't said. So now they pretty much they've screwed themselves.
They flagged themselves, really, huh?
Exactly. Now you're in the insurance industry database.
Okay.
So anything you do after that point, I'm telling you, it's like qualifying for a loan. So you go get a car loan, you get denied. Now you got a ding on your credit report. And now you got to go someplace else. Your interest rate is going to be higher, which means you're going to pay more. Insurance is pretty much the same.
Yeah. You're labeled as a high risk, like high interest rate or something like that. Pretty much similar to the same thing. Yep. Okay, so what would you say would be the first steps when somebody comes to you guys? What would be the first step? What would be the first thing they do? Like what would they do when they first come to you and they say, okay, I want to get some life insurance? So what are some of the first steps?
Well, I think the first thing is to just have a conversation with them to find out
Mm-hmm.
exactly what they need insurance for.
Okay.
Because what happens is a lot of times a client or a potential client will come to us and say, "Oh, I want a $500,000 policy,"
Mm-hmm.
and then we'll talk to them, and then we'll find out, okay, well, all of their kids are 30 years or older.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have any property. They
Mm-hmm.
don't really have anything. So, okay, well, how did you come up with this number? Why do you want a $500,000 policy?
Okay.
Because what people don't know, and like Kenneth said a little bit earlier,
Mm-hmm.
you have to qualify. So you
Right.
can't just because you want $1 million, or
Mm-hmm.
I had a lady the other day said she wanted a $10 million policy.
10
And I'm
million?
like, okay, but you can't 10 million. I was like, but you can't really get a $10 million policy because your income level doesn't qualify for a $10 million policy.
Yeah.
So
So
we
they
kind of
might have been a $50,000 a year worker, and now they want a $10 million. Yeah, the math don't add up, huh?
don't add up, right? So
Okay.
if it don't add up with us, then of
Yeah.
course it's not going to add
Right.
up with the underwriters.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
what we do is the first thing is just to kind of have a conversation with the client
Mm-hmm.
and to see what their true needs are. Because
Okay.
a lot of times they don't really know, and then a lot of times they may need more. We
Mm-hmm.
help them discover, and we'll say, "Oh, okay, you have younger kids.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, what about college? Okay, well, what about the house? What about this?" So it just really depends. So we kind of do a discovery sheet, and it kind of tells us what we would recommend for them to get instead of
Okay.
them just picking a number out of their head. Oh, I want this, I want that.
Okay.
So that's the first thing, is to have a quick
Like
conversation.
a rule of thumb is, okay, let's say something happened to you.
Mm-hmm.
You got to think about your family. How many years do you want them to be comfortable without the loss of what you bring in
The
to that
income.
house?
Okay.
So
Okay.
if you say, okay, well, they should be good in 3 years,
Mm-hmm.
then multiply your salary by 3 years,
Mm-hmm.
tack on how much debt you have
Mm-hmm.
that may need to get paid off,
Mm-hmm.
that they may be coming after your wife for,
Mm-hmm.
the rest of your mortgage
Mm-hmm.
loan,
You got to factor all of that and
tack
see that. So
that
it's good
on.
information. Good
Yeah,
information. Okay.
tack that on, and then that's going to be your face value.
Oh, okay. 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 Now, like you said, with the qualifications, what could change somebody's qualification is, I know income is one part, and I know lifestyle is another part. So if they're a smoker or something like that, that makes it a little harder if they're a known smoker or something like that on the application, right? So does income play a big part in it?
Well, income doesn't really play as much of a factor. Only time income plays a factor is when you have a person that's trying to get like $1 million or more
Mm-hmm.
type of policy. Because $1 million policy, if you're in good health,
Mm-hmm.
an insurance provider, they don't care about issuing out $1 million policy. That's not really a lot of money per se. But when you get to 1 million plus,
Mm-hmm.
then the income at that point is a factor.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you're over 1 million plus, then like what type of sports you may be involved in,
Okay.
what type
Okay.
of habits you have,
Yeah. Okay.
whether
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
smoke,
Mm-hmm.
whether you don't.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people will say, "Oh, I smoke marijuana. Can I still get coverage?" Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
But you need to let us know that you do smoke marijuana,
Mm-hmm.
so that way, if it comes up, then we can note on there that you smoke marijuana.
Mm-hmm.
But so nothing will really disqualify you.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that will disqualify you is when you don't disclose what
Some
needs to be
information.
disclosed.
Okay.
Right.
Because you
So
got
the
to be
only thing
upfront and
to tell
honest.
us,
Yeah, you got to
Oh
be
yeah.
upfront and honest.
right,
Some will come out. Some will come out.
And
Yeah.
right.
one thing I'll say about this, as soon as you step over that $1 million threshold,
Mm-hmm.
you triggered a medical exam.
Yeah.
So
Automatic, like the red light to go off.
yeah,
Running.
so
Yeah.
most of the carriers we deal with,
Mm-hmm.
on most levels, we
Mhm.
try to get people covered without ever having to do a medical.
Okay. Yeah.
But for
Okay.
most policies that are going to be over $1 million, yes, a medical
Mhm.
exam will be required.
Okay, and then that's only right. What would
Uh,
you say? What do you see as the most common level of life insurance? Is it the 500,000? Is it the million? Is it what would you say the range is the most average you would say that y'all see?
For life,
Yeah, for life, what
normally
would you say like would be the ballpark average
for
somewhere?
term life, I would say between 250 to 500,000.
Okay.
For the permanent policies,
Mm-hmm.
probably around 100 to $150,000 face value,
Mm-hmm.
depending on your age when you started.
Mm-hmm.
Because those policies nowadays, with the stock market going the way that it is,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
the cash value is just booming.
Is it with the way the stock market's going?
Oh yeah,
Wow.
because
Wow.
it's tied to the S&P 500,
Okay.
which is almost every day it's a new record high.
Mm-hmm.
So people are not taking advantage of it.
Mm-hmm.
They've got their 401k, but you can have your life insurance policy making money for you too.
Right, right, yeah, right. And speaking of that, what are some of the ways, like you said, you can have your life insurance making money for you? And I know what you said, Frantwan, like using it as a loan. So speak about some of the ways you can utilize your policy as you're living or going forward, like say pulling out money or whatnot. Can y'all speak on some of that? Whoever want to go first?
Well, with the permanent policy, the index universal life,
Mm-hmm.
it's tied in with the S&P 500.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the cash value builds up over time.
Okay.
So let's say you have a policy you started when you were like 40,
Mm-hmm.
and now it's permanent, so it's not going to expire.
Mm-hmm.
The premium will stay the same. And now
Okay.
you've turned 65. You're ready to retire. Let's say you turn 60. So now you've had it for 20 years.
Okay.
So now you've got maybe 25, 30, sometimes depending on the face value,
Okay.
you may have like 30, $40,000 cash value just sitting there.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say you want to take a trip. Well, you
Mm-hmm.
borrow against it. You don't have to go to a bank.
Mm-hmm.
You are the bank.
You are okay. Okay.
It does not affect your death benefit. It
Mm-hmm.
stays the same. You just drawn some of the cash value out of your policy and you're using it.
Mm-hmm.
You do not have to pay it back.
I'm about to say, do you pay it back to yourself? And is that money based on the money that you've paid into it already or something, or what?
That
What
is
is
the
that?
money that has accrued based on the investment
The
into
investment.
the universal index.
Okay. Okay. I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Because what
So
happens
there's
is each month that you have the policy,
Mm-hmm.
there's like a money bucket, if that makes
Okay.
sense. And
Okay.
there's like a certain amount of money goes into that money bucket.
Mm-hmm.
That money bucket is your cash value that you're earning and that you're accumulating
And it keeps
from the policy.
accumulating. It keeps
Right.
accumulating. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
right.
You really just playing the time game, really, huh? Over
Exactly.
time and stuff like that. Yeah.
Compounding interest.
Okay. Okay. I see what you're saying. That's definitely some good information. I'm gonna put all your information in too, man, all your links. So if somebody want to reach out to you and get involved, they definitely have a way to get involved. I like what y'all doing on your Instagram page too, man.
Thank
Like
you.
it just keeps it in the forefront of your mind. I see it and I'm like, yep, boom, boom, boom. So it just keeps it in. Do you say so say like remember I was talking to you about my situation if I wanted to because we have one life insurance policy. But so say if I wanted to get another piece, something, to leave for my kids or my grandson or something like that, would you advise getting another one? Like if you already have one, is another one necessary, you think, or what? Or is it still, viable to get another piece of income? Can you have enough or what? What too much or what?
You can't ever really have too much.
That's what I thought.
And a lot of what it is we're doing also, now that you mentioned the kids and the grandkids, what a lot of people are doing is they're setting their kids up for
That's what I want
success.
to do. Yeah, I want to give them a good handoff. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So it's not even about a portion of your death benefit. It's a
Mhm,
portion of their life benefit. So
mhm,
you start them off with like a $25,000 or $50,000 IUL when they're little kids. And
mhm,
then next thing you know, they turn 40 years old.
mhm.
They're still paying. Now you start off paying it, but then when they become adults, they just take over the payments.
They just take over the payments. Okay.
Twenty
See, that's
dollars,
something smart like that. That's
yeah,
something smart
$20
like that.
a month, and then next thing
Mhm,
you know, they're 40 years old and they've got tens of thousands of dollars
mhm,
that they can do the same thing. They can borrow against it. They've got
mhm,
the cash value. They've got the
mhm,
death benefit. they get married, they can add on to that policy because it's theirs. It's permanent.
It's theirs. Okay, yeah. And that goes on as long as you paying it and doing it premium. Okay, it just keeps going, right? Okay.
That's correct.
Okay.
And then you can always sign it over to your grandkids or kids later on once you feel they're responsible. And you say, you know, years down the line, once the policy is established, once the policy has been established, you can always sign it over to them once they get old enough to do it. If you wanted to do that too.
Oh, is that right? Okay. Okay.
There's one lady. She had a life insurance policy, and basically the way the policy was set up, it was actually, I believe, it may have been an annuity. Where after she passed, every year on that child's birthday, that child got a check for like $1,500.
Okay, so is that, explain the annuity again? Was that part of the deal too, or what?
Well, that's a different product. It's part of life insurance. So you put in a lump sum, and you agree that, okay, I'm going to put in this. I've got a lump sum sitting there, or maybe you had a 401k or a certificate of deposit at a bank that's collecting what, 2%, 1% interest. So you roll that over tax-free into an annuity, and you say, we're not going to touch that for 7 years. Little Johnny is 7 years old. So when little Johnny turns 21, what's that, 14 years later, that money now starts to become an income for him. So
and it's
every
dispersed annually. It's dispersed annually.
Every year. Okay. That's right.
Okay. Okay. And then you spoke on rolling over a 401k. You can do that into some life insurance too. You can roll that over too.
You can roll that over into an annuity product to give you, because basically you'll have more control of the annuity product than you do over the 401k.
Yeah, right.
So you'll be able to roll it over and get like, because most people have 401k because they want to have income for the rest of their life. Because there are two things wrong with the way things go. It's not having or living or dying too soon, which life insurance helps. And it also helps if you live too long.
People outlive their money, don't they?
They sure do.
I've seen, they outlive their money. Yeah, I've seen it. Because you don't know what that back end is going to be.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
That's where the annuity products come in to make sure that you're taken care of.
Okay. Man, that's a cold way to come up short, outliving your money. Like, hey, man, ain't nothing else coming, man. Hey.
Well, you'll be surprised at how many people that really do outlive their money, because a lot of people don't think that they're going to live until like age 80, 90. And then
You've seen those commercials where the guy was a lifeguard running down the beach. And he's like 80 years old next to all these, Baywatch people.
Yeah.
He can't afford to retire.
I see a lot of people on the job like that. They met the years, like they put the time in, but financially they can't afford to retire. And I'm like, man, that's a cold trap, man. It is. It's a cold trap, man.
That's why we tell people, hey, don't say you didn't know, because we're telling you.
Right. Yes,
and that's why we tell people all the time too, that a lot of times people will just purchase, they'll say, oh, I have life insurance on my job. Can you tell people, explain a little bit about that, Kenneth? A lot of people may say, oh, I got life insurance on my job.
Yeah. Okay.
You asked earlier, has it been busy during this COVID environment? There are so many people that had lost their jobs.
Yeah. So what about that life insurance now?
Gone.
Yeah. Not coming back.
You've been on the job for 10 years and you said, well, I've got coverage on my job. Now, 10 years later, you're out of a job. Now you need private insurance, but now you're 10 years into it. Now you got to pay more.
Okay.
So that's why if you have life insurance on your quote unquote job, you should still have a private policy that you're over, that you own, that you're in control over, that nobody else is over or in control of. You want to always have your own coverage. That way, if something happens with that job, you still are covered. Right.
Because some jobs, like a lot of these jobs going into the 21st century, they ain't trying to pay none of them benefits. They just want to give you straight cash, no health insurance, no life. They ain't trying to do none of that. That's smart, man. I see what you're saying.
We always say, man, these jobs ain't loyal.
Yeah, they really ain't. They really ain't, man. Real talk, man. How often do y'all have any kind of like information sessions to where I know Frantwan, I know you do a lot of different stuff on different days. Is it anything based on your life insurance where y'all might have a talk or something like that? Do y'all do stuff like that? Like
We typically try to do something at least once a month where we do a talk. But we haven't, I think January we didn't do anything just because of our schedules, but we're gonna get back to probably starting March.
Okay. And what would that be on? What could people catch that on?
Typically we actually do it on a Saturday normally when we do them. Yeah.
Okay. Is it like a Facebook Live or a private Zoom invite or something like that?
What we've done has been we've actually done both, but we do a Facebook Live and then we do it on Zoom. But we'll put it on our website so that way if they go to In God We Trust Insurance.com, they'll be able to get it, see it.
Okay. Then do y'all have, what if somebody wanted to get with y'all as far as being an agent? Do y'all do any stuff like that? If somebody say, man, this is something I'm interested into, I want to find out how I can be an agent. Do y'all do stuff like that too?
Absolutely. Yeah, they can definitely reach out to us and we can give them the information, go through what it costs to do the licensing process and everything. We actually have a scholarship program that we do. So if someone wants to come through and they want to be trained with us, we can set it up to where, I think can have something set up where their license is like basically paid for after so many days of completing their classes and completing their tests and everything. But yeah, we kind of walk them through and give them all the information they need to get started.
Wow, that's great, man. That's good, man. Okay, is there any other thing y'all want to leave the people with, man? Anything we miss? I got most of my questions around. Anything we miss? Any points or facts y'all want to leave us with, man?
I would just say that I think you did an excellent job with the interview. I would just say for people to get some type of coverage. A lot of times people were like saying, oh, I'm going to wait because I want to get this. I'm going to wait because I want to get that. I would just say, don't procrastinate.
Yeah.
Don't put it off. If you don't have coverage or if you only have a small policy through your job or get your own private plan that you are in control of. And life insurance has so many benefits to it. It's not just for when you pass away, but I mean, we have the living benefits rider that's attached to the policy. There's all types of things that you can do, especially if you get a permanent policy, which Ken kind of went over, that is tied to the stock market.
Okay.
And then there's a lot of safe things that you can do. So a lot of people don't like to invest because they don't like to take chances.
Right.
But you have a IUL policy. I mean, like you're guaranteed a certain percentage on your money. I mean, it's really phenomenal, just the different benefits that you can get. So besides the savings, besides the tax benefits, besides
it's like you winning all the way around, man.
All the way around, right? Yeah. So I would just say, just contact us. You can reach us. Our office number is 310-973-8491, or you can reach me on our business cell, which is 310-590-0417. And then also you can reach out to us on our website. If you want to get a quote, you can actually get a quote right on our website. And then it'll send us an alert letting us know that you wanted to get a quote. And that's In God We Trust Insurance.com. So yeah, I think that's it. Yeah. Do you have anything you want to add to that, Kenneth, or anything?
Yeah, I just want to tag that with people just need to know GoFundMe is not insurance.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's so sad.
Do that to your relative.
Man, it's disrespectful, man. You know, I go to the corner store and I see a little can with a they don't even got enough money to print a color picture out. They got somebody's bad picture on there. We raising money for so and so. I'm just like, man, that's a bad look, man.
And it's really sad because a lot of times you can spend like $15 a month, get like a small term policy.
Get something though, huh?
Something, right. Yeah. But there's no need to put your family through that when all you have to do is just, most of us spend, I don't know what you're having.
That's three hamburgers a week, $15.
Right. Most people spend $5 a day at Starbucks.
Exactly.
So if you can spend $5 a day at Starbucks, you can spend $1 a day for your life insurance for you and your family.
Yeah.
You know, you could get a family plan if you got smaller kids.
Yeah.
You just want something basic. You get something for like $30 a month that'll cover you and all your family. We have a child rider where if you have one kid or if you have 10 kids,
Mm-hmm.
it's the same exact price.
Golly, that's
So
amazing.
there's really no reason to not have any insurance.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, unless you just it's really no reason, because even people that have horrible health,
Mm-hmm.
there's some type of policy we can get them that they'll qualify for.
Still,
so there's really no reason. It's just really just I don't even know. Yeah. So
that's
no
great.
reason.
And continue, Ken. You saying GoFundMe ain't a life insurance?
It's not insurance. And one more thing that's really important, that I don't mean to throw shade on anybody.
Hey, it is what it is.
But when they say $9.99 is what, insurance starting at $9.99,
Mm-hmm.
they don't tell you till after you call that is $9.99 for every $1,000.
God, they get you on that hook, don't they? Yeah.
So you pay $9.99, so you got $1,000 worth of insurance.
Mm-hmm.
You can't get cremated for $1,000.
Yeah. Hey, the worms won't even eat you up for that.
Right.
You can't even get in the backyard.
Man, that's cold, man. That's cold.
Yeah. So
do your research.
Just give us a call.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, if you don't go with us, at least you'll leave with some education about what it is you should do.
Mm-hmm. They can make a better informed decision.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah, because you could, if nothing else, and then because we don't charge you to sit down with you and talk to you. So even if you decide you want to go a different route, or we don't have, it's free. This is a part of what we do. It's a part of why we are licensed and so forth.
That's part of our ministry.
Yeah, it's part. It's bigger than the cash thing. Yeah, I feel you.
Right.
I like how y'all got that, how y'all married them too, man. And it's a ministry, it's a business, but it all works for the good of things. You trying to do something good for people, trying to cover your life, trying to set you up. You know what I mean? Because this life is temporary. It's short. I tell people, life is that little dash.
Right.
Everything happens in that little dash, man.
Yep.
It's crazy, So, but definitely, man, thanks for your time, man. Blanc Lewis Family Life Insurance. Y'all check them out, man. We'll have all the links and information in the comments, man, in the description. Y'all definitely check them brothers out. Brother Frantwan, Brother Ken, I appreciate y'all time.
Absolutely.
It was absolutely a pleasure, man. I learned a lot more. When we get offline, I'm gonna follow up with y'all on some things we previously talked about too. So hey, it's only one life out here, man. Y'all check on that family life insurance. Definitely, man. D.Fos podcast, we signing off.
All right.
Appreciate y'all brothers, man. Absolutely.
All right.
The D.Fos podcast,
where we drop insight, inspiration,